Going on YouTube? Boy Rob back, Vibrational Living. I tried to put a video up earlier about um, the idea of this identity we call black. Us calling ourselves black. But the video of course, didn't upload properly. So I'm doing it again. So I guess second time the charm, I can actually probably perfect it and, do it the way I wanted to do it. So this idea of being black, like I said, it's a name that was given to us, no different than these other names that we tend to use these terms like, nigger, nigga, African American, Afro American, all these different variations to try to describe who we are. Because I feel like a part of our issues, we're dealing with a severe identity crisis. We try to identify with everything and try to make everything to be black. You know what I'm saying? Everything, we're the original people. So everything started from us. So therefore, we try to identify with everything. So you have black people who try to identify with being Native American. You got black people who try to identify with being African. You got, or, even to say African is a very broad term because you're talking about a continent as opposed to a culture. Because on the continent of Africa, you have many different cultures and many different tribes and many different types of people and hues of people, that speak different languages. So you can't even say African is a culture or is a race. It's a continent. We got to be clear about that. So in us even understanding who we are and what we have to identify ourselves. We have to find some kind of source of where we come from as melanated people. And we can't take this from the ideals and the words and the thoughts and programming of Europeans, because that's what we've been doing. Even when you talk about Egyptian or truly Kemetan, if you call yourself Egyptian, you're still talking about a European term, Egypt. Europeans made that name up. So if people who lived in Kemet would have referred to themselves as Kemetan. So, like I said, these words and these terms are thrown around loosely and people don't really know what they mean. And we try to identify with stuff that we don't even know where it comes from. And if it comes from Europeans, then it's definitely not of us. So, and it's not even, I'm knocking against Europeans, but Europeans can't tell you who you are. You see what I'm saying? They can't tell you where you come from, even though they may have had some part in you being here. And clearly you're here for a particular reason. Maybe it's to discover where you actually came from. So, moving on. I think a lot of the issues with us is we try to identify with other things that actually are a part of our destruction, as opposed to a part of our progress and understanding of ourselves. So I just want to have a conversation and dialogue about us renaming ourselves and rewriting our own history, not in telling the true perspective of the melanated people in America. What truly happened from our perspective, not from Europeans' perspective of what we think, or not what Europeans say we think, or actually what we think, and not what so-called token Negroes that they want to let them tell their story, but not others. You see what I'm saying? You got to get the whole story, not just bits and pieces. And I think that's how history has been told from certain people's perspective, because they only want you to know so much. But when you're a true seeker of truth, you want to know the whole. You want the whole pie. You don't want a piece of it. Okay? So that's the same. That goes back to what I'm originally talking about. This term black, how it is really a tainted word that we want to identify with as actually holy people, godly people, spiritual people are trying to identify with a devilish word or a devilish understanding of this term black. Because you gotta understand it has so many different meanings. You go look at them dictionary, none of it's positive hardly. And understand that's how the world describes us. Even that's how we describe ourselves. And that's why we probably don't think very highly of ourselves. Because all these terms we use to describe ourselves have always been negative. So we have to rewrite and rename ourselves in something that's nothing but positive. Or at least neutral. At least it's going to say both, good and bad of what we are, both light and dark of what we are, not just describing one pole or the other. So, you know, in a nutshell, that's pretty much the gist of it. I just want to start the dialogue. I want people to riff back and forth with me and cipher back and forth with me to really come up with something, unique, what I'm saying, for us to go on and to rebuild ourselves on, like to rebuild our minds on and to restructure our minds on and our confidence within ourselves and our confidence in when we see each other walking up and down the street. If I identify with you as being part of me and being part of my tribe, I want to be able to call you something and to be something righteous and something uplifting and something beautiful. You see what I'm saying? I don't want anything I call my people derived from something negative. Even in its creation, even we took the word and flipped it, it still has a negative start. It still has a destructive start. So it means it's ain't going to be destructive. So we can't identify with it no more. You see what I'm saying? Even this tongue, we speak this English tongue. We have to find a new tongue. At least when we identify with each other. You see what I'm saying? Like, we have to have our own language. Because even this language messes up dialogue between it miscommunication between one another. We take ourselves wrong in this crazy forked tongue language of English. So, I'm just breaking down little areas that I see is our issues. And like I said, I want people to chime in and riff off this and cipher off this with me. If you feel negative about it, ask yourself why you feel negative about me talking about this, because this is what I just see. I see this. You see what I'm saying? So, don't shoot the messenger. Get the message. You see what I'm saying? Like, all the negativity, if you don't like what I'm saying, turn the video off, because I'm definitely not going to argue with anybody or comment back on any kind of disagreement type stuff. Like, we can agree to disagree by you ending the video and going to another one. But I'll begin to digress. I just definitely want to keep my messages positive and on a constructive basis. Even if we do have to debate about something, let's keep it a debate. But our people definitely should be priority number one for everybody who is concerned about the state of our people post-Obama era. And the reason why I say post-Obama, because prior to Obama coming in office, or when Obama came out, we got a real confidence boost as a people when he took office. It boosted us up and made us feel good about ourselves and made us feel like we could accomplish all things. It was really a positive mind trick, but it was a mind trick nonetheless, because as soon as Donald Trump got elected, everybody got the wind knocked out of them. They got punched in the stomach, so to speak. And like I said, now, this changing of the guard, so to speak, we really have to keep our confidence up like Obama's still in office. Like we still running things, you know what I'm saying? Because that was really the understanding when he took office, even though it's not the truth. Anybody with any kind of sense knows that he was working for the same system that is what I'm talking about. That name does is what I'm talking about right now. So, the Obama mind trick, this syndrome is going to end up being a syndrome for us for a little while, until we can get over it, him not being there anymore. Because it's like our dad left and we got a new dad, and we don't like this daddy at all. You see what I'm saying? And even in that ideal alone is the problem. Like, we shouldn't be looking to no other man, especially me as a man and a God, as my daddy. He's not my daddy. He came in and, like I said, his sole purpose was to boost our confidence to a higher level, to believe that we are more than just workers and slaves, that we can be something higher. And that, to me, that was his only purpose, and he achieved that purpose, and I appreciate it. You see what I'm saying? But to look to him as some kind of savior or somebody who was supposed to liberate the black people, he is not that. We are that. We as one become that. Not some individual is never going to come and save us. That's part of the Jesus juice. That's part of the programming. You can't keep sipping that Kool-Aid no more. You got to get on the new. You got to get on something new, something that has a more positive and more uplifting outcome, and we'll have an outcome, a positive outcome, not something that's going to keep dragging on with no outcome. And that's what the Jesus juice, the Jesus syndrome, as I like to call it, does. We're the savior syndrome. And we're waiting for somebody to come and save us, because even we thought Obama was that somebody, and we were wrong. And I'm just speaking from a general perspective. I never really thought this myself, but don't get me wrong, I was caught up in the hype of having a black president, and the confidence that came with that. The confidence hasn't gone anywhere, but the reality of of what's really going on has really set in since Mr. Trump being voted into office. So I would like to start the dialogue. My name is Rob. I'm part of Vibrational Living Company. My whole purpose is to speak truth and boost our frequency to a higher frequency, from a third dimensional frequency to a fourth and fifth dimensional frequency, just meaning that your body is more online than it was before. Eat the right things, taking the right knowledge. It's all about the right consumption, consuming the right information, consuming the right food, consuming the right water. Those are things I will be talking about on this channel. These are things I want to inform my people of and my followers of. And these videos will keep coming. I appreciate everybody's time. Stay tuned for more. Peace.